Nice bruises, princess. Didn't know Fort Kessler offered spa packages. The words cut through the early morning haze, sharp but lazy, like a dull knife meant to provoke. Private Wade Huxley smirked as he stepped back in formation, just loud enough to draw a few chuckles from the others. That was the point. Humiliate test. Across the training field, Sergeant Grace Mallory stood alone, tank top soaked in sweat, dust caked on her arms. Bruises traced her collarbone, her knuckles scraped raw, not the kind from one bad day. These were earned, slowly, the kind that linger. Her gait was off, subtle but there, her silence impeccable. She didn't blink, didn't react, didn't need to. That bothered Huxley more than he'd ever admit. Behind her, Bravo Squad shifted. Some snorted, some watched. She was new, the only female assigned to the unit in over 2 years. No intro, no background, just transferred in under special directive. Rumors had already filled the barracks. Injured vet, paper pusher, ghost, from someone's past? Nobody knew, so they guessed. And in the absence of truth, disrespect creeps in. How many push-ups break a wrist, Sarge? Huxley smirked again. Or did you trip over your ego? Laughter spread, that kind of laughter, the kind that challenges, the kind that assumes you won't fight back. But Grace didn't flinch, not even a glance. And that's when a figure appeared on the hill just beyond the perimeter. General Thomas Barkley, hands clasped behind his back, face unreadable, waiting. He knew the moment she stepped out of the Humvee that morning, this wouldn't be easy. Grace Mallory never asked for attention. But wherever she went, history followed. And still, he didn't step in. Not yet. The bruises on her neck caught the sunlight, tangry half-healed. Her stillness wasn't pride. It was something quieter. Older than the general's voice rolled out across the field, low-com final call sign. Widow, 27. Everything stopped. The jokes, the snickers, even the wind seemed to freeze. Private Huxley blinked, confused, annoyed. Widow, what? Berkeley stepped down the hill, boots crunching slowly, fists now unclenched at his sides. You just ran your mouth at Widow 27, son. The silence didn't just return, it pressed in. Private Keller whispered, no way. That's her. They'd heard the stories, briefings, legends. A woman who went dark for 5 days behind enemy lines and came back dragging her squad through fire. But that couldn't be this woman. This bruised, quiet shadow in front of them, could it? Barkley stopped, just feet from Huxley. You don't need to understand it, he said, voice heavy. But you'd better remember it. A ripple passed through the squad. One of the older instructors stood at attention, not by protocol, but instinct. Barkley turned to the group. Operation Ghostline. He let it hang. 7 went in behind. The land divide, 48 hours turned to 8 days. 2 gone on day 1, 1 bled out before sunrise. 1 vanished. That left 3, 1 couldn't breathe, another, unconscious. The last had 2 broken ribs, a bullet through the thigh, and 12 miles of ice to crawl through. She carried one, dragged the other, no backup, no air support, just grit. The silence thickened. Grace didn't move. She didn't need to. She was already there again, back in the snow, blood crusting in her collar, her vision going black. She crawled the last 300 yards, Berkeley said, staring at her now, because standing stopped being an option. The recruits didn't laugh now. They didn't blink. You think she came back for glory? His eyes scanned the field. She came back because not everyone who walks out of fire leaves it behind. They looked away now, not in shame, something deeper. Respect. You think command sent her here as a favor? He stepped again, voice like a slow drum beat. She could have walked away. Retired. Full honors. No one would question it. A pause, weighty, real, but she didn't. She asked to come back, not to write reports, not for photo ops. She asked for the hardest job we have, training you. And suddenly, Grace wasn't some stranger. She was the blueprint, not because she told stories, but because her body still carried them. She came back, Barkley said quietly, because she remembers what happens when training fails. No one spoke. No one had to. Grace stood still, hands behind her back, boots grounded. She hadn't said a word, and yet the silence around her had changed. It didn't isolate her anymore. It elevated her. That evening, in the mess hall, plates clattered, silverware scraped, but no one laughed too loud. Something had shifted. In the back corner, Sergeant Grace Mallory sat alone, eating slowly, quietly, the same way she fought. But then a tray, a footstep. One recruit sat down, then another, and another. No apology, no speech, just quiet respect. They didn't see the bruises anymore. They saw the woman who didn't break, not even when she had every reason to. Further down the table, a younger recruit leaned in. Why? Widow 27. She didn't lift her head, didn't flinch. Because I have buried 26 of my team, she said, voice steady. I'm number 27. Silence followed, not discomfort. Reverence. Because some warriors don't come back for medals. They come back to make sure the next ones survive, and that kind of strength. It doesn't yell, it doesn't need applause. It just shows up.